All right. I'm chatting with Yazan today. We're going to talk about why you invest in microcap stocks because, some people had some doubts about why you invest in microcap stocks. And, you know, if you look at Plurilock, oh my God, Yazan, Plurilock is over $1. It's like we made 10 times our money since we participated in a private placement 4 months ago. What's going
Yeah,
on? And is this why you invest in microcaps?
well, it's first of all great to be talking about this with a positive tone because it's been a very long 18, 24 months of kind of doom and gloom, the end of the world on microcaps and so on. And then you have this example, which is right now Plurilock. Um, whether it's realized or no, and you and I have spoken about being a realized gain versus one that looks good on the P&L. But nonetheless, this is really why people like us like to be in the microcap space. It's because you get an opportunity. I was thinking about it just before we get on the call, and where can you get a place where you can own a percentage of the business? You can reach out to the company, speak with the CEO, speak with the chairman, um, through MCE, get access even to them and ask them questions, and you'd be able to um, give you answers within public disclosure, obviously. But being able to have that access, you know, you and I are not going to call Jeff Bezos and say, "Hey, what's going on with Amazon?" It's not going to pick up. So you're getting a very unique proposition where if you have the right set of companies, and we do have some companies that are doing great, and in MC some are not, but that's the nature of the beast. You don't need a lot of companies if you bet right. You don't need a lot of companies to make significant wealth. And that's why, uh, you know, looking at Plurilock from 20 cents with a full warrant at 25 cents, it's right now at 5x, and the warrants are 4x. Call it 9 bagger. Now, is it realized? No, it's not. But at least you get to feel and see what is the interest in and why people like it. And we're just in the very early innings of this because interest rates are just about to get cut. You know, like the barometer is always we look at Russell, and Russell has had a very boring 18 to 24 months. There's not been much happening. If anything, it's been the, you know, top 7 names. You know them, I know them. But if you're not in these top 7 names, guess what? You've not been having a lot of fun. And the microcap world allows people, if they know what they're doing, to have access to such significant gains if they know what they're doing. And that's why we invest in them.
Yeah, I just keep going back to the time when I introduced Plurilock and when we participated in the private placement. I mean, the pre-money valuation was $2 million. $2 million on a company that has 70 million of revenues. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before. Never. And even
Right.
today, after the stock is at over $1, we're still trading at about 50% of revenues. This is
Yeah.
insane. This is insane what retail did to some of these microcap stocks. It's like picking an
Yeah.
envelope full of $100 bills for pennies and then they argue with you how stupid you are for picking up the envelope.
Yeah. I mean, you and I had this conversation. We were talking earlier. I had shared with you, and we've been sharing several articles, even on Aduro, for example, where, you know, a private company gets VC money, 16, $30 million, at multiple $100 million valuation, and they're addressing a tiny bit of the plastic problem, just one type of plastic. And then we have this company that is able to address multiple types of plastic waste, as well as rubber tires, as well as other verticals. And people are being handed that, as you said, the envelope, being handed the envelope at 70 million US dollars. And they say, no, we don't want it. There must be something wrong, because if it's offered to us, if it's not offered to VCs, it's not going that route, then something must be wrong. What they don't understand is, like, I know we're going sideways, but in the case of Aduro, for example, when they did the last raise, as far as I know, they had demand for over $6 million. They decided not to dilute shareholders, took only 3.5. This is prudent management. And this is why I'm saying, if you bet on the right management, on the right companies, you have a lot of headroom. And you've introduced Aduro. Now, Aduro, everyone that's MCE is up close to 300%, including the warrants. And that's in the midst of a very bad time, and a lot of de-risking has taken place. We go back to Plurilock. When it happened, I called my broker and I said, you should put a lot of your investors in this. I'm personally putting over 100 grand in this. And he laughed at me, because when he went to his people, they told him the same thing. Management don't know what they're doing. The company is in disarray. They keep going back to the market every 4 months. The same story. Then you get an adult in the room, who's Ali, the chairman, comes in. You get a great CFO, and you get a good investor relations team behind the company. And suddenly this company gets known to the public. And suddenly everyone's like, oh, wow, and I got like a text before this 15 minutes ago, and people are like, wow, this thing that you told us about, we don't know what it does, but it's up 400 or 500% from when you told us. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, it's actually up more than that, because if you had listened, you would have had the warrants, but that's okay. But still, that's the reason why going into companies during the times where no one wants them, that's the key. You have to check all the boxes, make sure that the management is right, the investment thesis is right. It might work out faster than we think. In the case of Plurilock, has gone very fast. Sometimes it takes longer. Investment theses are not meant to be, not everything you're going to bat is going to work out. It's like a VC world. This is the other thing, that when people say you are hyping the company, here's the reality. You have a bigger audience you can talk to. You have, but the thing is, if management does not execute, no matter how big of a microphone you have, you can't do much about that. So, the last thing that comes to mind is, again, I tell people, if you have enough exposure, again, if you own 1 to 2 to 3% of these companies, okay, and you really can, not with a massive amount of dollars, and you can hold them through a 10, 20 bagger, they can make up for a lot of the bad mistakes that happen in the market. So That's why we're in microcaps.
And that's good. Let's stop it here. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.